he says. Come on, technology. Would you do anything here versus a limper? With
Nope.
ace? No.
No.
No, I wouldn't either, but I'm just wondering if I'm missing something or not.
No, I don't think so. Whenever I'm isolating, I'm generally just going slightly tighter than my opening range, and unless I know they're a tricky limper, at which point I'm not going to get involved. But A6 offsuit is really borderline cut off open for me anyway, especially at these stacks. So if there's a limper in front of me, I'm probably going to only start isolating with sort of ace-9 offsuit and better.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right, pocket kings in the big blind. I've gone too big on the 3-bet size there, I think.
I think 9's fine. 8 or 9.
It was consistent with what you did earlier as well with a weaker hand, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, but my stack's a lot shorter now.
True.
This
Yeah,
looks a lot more committing off of this stack size. Like I've got no bluffs at this, almost no bluffs at this sizing. We do get called. Okay.
But again, like you said earlier, this is a bounty tournament, so the fact that he's got more chips than you is going to lead him to call wider than he should.
That's true. And obviously when we got kings, it's an ace high flop.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I play this.
Yeah, I'm c betting for sure. About 6 or 7 big blinds.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Just over 7. And you get called. You check in? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on an SPR of more S1 now, so he checks. I think I block bet the river here.
Yeah, I don't use block bets. I'd probably check call. I hope he doesn't jam. I check, hope he doesn't put me all in. Probably call.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he didn't take the lead on the turn when you checked probably means he's got a sort of middling pocket pair himself. He's always going to call the c-bet on the flop when it's small with any pocket pair because he expects you to be betting a range which you are. I think if you then check the turn, he's probably going to start firing with his aces. So on the river, you could argue that you're going for thin value here as opposed to a block bet, but I do prefer check calling.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd bluff a lot in his shoes because you check the turn, so I'm really going to discount flush draws for you a lot, and I'm going to have more of them, I think, now.
Yeah.
So I probably, if you check, I tend to, if I don't have an ace, I'm probably bluffing 100% here if I'm him.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I won and apparently got extra value from something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been a small pocket pair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Dude,
But yeah, I think
his hands don't show, huh? When they call?
no, it's blocked on Party Poker.
Ah.
So they allow you to download hand histories to review your own game, but you don't get the name or the hand from the other player, so you can't make notes on them.
All right.
You can make notes in game, but you can't make notes when you're reviewing afterwards.
Yeah.
It might have. Yeah. I'm just wondering if I won't do it now, but in the future, if I can actually review the hand history directly from Party Poker on their replayer, and we might get more information on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Something I'll look into. I've never done it before, so I'll look into that. But yeah, so I can only presume he had like pocket tens or something. So that works out well for us. But yeah,
Yeah, he's not going to bluff tens or whatever he called with. He's not going to turn into a bluff, obviously.
no.
Yeah, it's a max value job done.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
Excellent.
if he shoves, you calling it?
So gross.
Yeah, I'm puking in my mouth and like I'm probably folding, to be honest.
I mean, at the SPR at 0.3 would it be? Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do you want me to go back to it?
Just quick eyes. I think if he shows, I think you just have, I don't know. It's horrible, isn't it?
I mean, sometimes I do make those nitty folds with a small SPR because I mean, if I just know the guy's not bluffing, like if I'm really almost sure, I just fold anyway. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've got him tagged as a maniac, or I've got a maniac tag, which is someone. My two tags for aggressive players. One's an aggressive fish that just does randomly aggressive stuff for no apparent reason, and then I've got like a almost. It's not a maniac tag. It's a someone I know is a competent player that can make aggressive plays if they think they can get you to fold.
So just a strong lag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't have him tagged as either of those, so
Oh, okay.
I tend to err towards it's an honest shove on the river.
Yeah.
Like maybe he had. I'm not going to say ace X of clubs because I think that's bets the turn 100%. But maybe like I don't know ace 10 or something like that, and he just thinks, I'm clearly block betting, so he's going to shove for value. But then I might take this line with something like ace 7 of spades. You know what I mean?
The thing is though, he's not going to expect to have much fold equity. So when you bet at 12 big blinds, is that you're down to 24, he's up to 44 in the pot. So if he does shove, you only need to be good 1 in 5 times approximately.
Yeah.
He's not going to expect to have much fold equity at all.
No. So I think I would view it as being pretty honest and that I'm beat and just fold.
Oh yeah, with the club on the end as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
does he? Yeah, because he can still have a hand like king, queen of clubs because I don't block that. I don't.
Yep.
But yeah. All right. Next one. I think I'm just flicking it in here in a.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think. Oh no. Yeah. Value bet on the river.
I would have bet the turn. I would have led on the turn.
When someone limps and they hit top trips, they tend to just wait till the river and then try and stack someone.
Even 4-way though.
Yeah, I know, but this is just experience playing a lot of $2, $3, and $5 tournaments.
Okay.
But I'm getting called almost 100% by pocket fours in this spot as well. So when I bet the river, I don't know what he had, but I presume it was something like pocket fours, pocket fives, because he limped.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely scope here to lead out on the turn though. Yes, they might have kings in their range, but I still think you can probably get called by worse. I mean, there's still spade draws, there's sort of gut shots. You might even have something like queen jack that didn't want to bet the flop. He could still have weak under pairs that be willing to call on street.
Yeah, that's true.
My concern is I don't think I want to bet the turn and then fire again on the river though, which might leave us open to being bluffed a lot.
Well, we've got the perfect bluff catcher.
Yeah, true.
Although we do block some natural bluffs like queen jack and ace jack.
And we've got a spade as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
If I'd been in a cutoff seat, not that I would have limped the cutoff seat with this hand, but were I in the cutoff seat and I had a 10 on this board and it checked to me, I would bet it.
Yeah.
But when I'm out of position, I don't know. I don't always like leading so much. I think part of it might have just been, they could be, they could have queen 10 or ace 10 some portion of the time. So, but
Okay.
I think leading the turn's not a bad idea. I think we've only got one street value, so we could bet the turn for value / protection, and check call river, depending on what the river is.
Well, I mean, you're not getting called on the river though by any misdraws, but you could still potentially charge them to chase their last card on the turn if you do lead den.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I just think it looks really face up. I'm like, oh, I've got a 10 when I lead out here. But I could have pocket twos as well, I suppose. So
Yeah. Well, you could have a king as well.
A lot of things from small blinds on limp pot. That's one thing about I do get myself in trouble sometimes bluffing in the limp pots.
Yeah.
You're not bluffing here, but I actually stopped trying to stop bluffing limp pots. I just like either make a hand or get out of the way because I was losing a lot bluffing in spots like this.
Yeah, because people get really sticky in limp pots for some reason. Like they'll call you two streets with bottom pair because they're like, because they didn't bet the flop. Yeah, it's a bizarre scenario, limp pots. But yeah, I think the best policy is bet for value, but you can often bet thinly for value as well.
Yeah.
But maybe under bluff. All right, let's find the next likely hand. Yeah, just a fold. Just folding this versus. Oh, we're not calling at any point here.
No, not.
Would you open that? We are mid
Yeah,
position.
I'm opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Queen 10 might actually be a borderline call. I don't generally play, but I think that might be like a half and half deal.
Yeah, I just don't like Queen 10 offsuit as a hand, so I'm more inclined to fold it.
I don't like calling with it very much either.
If it was suited, I'd absolutely call it, or even three bet it. But offsuit, I think I'm like 90% folding that hand. It just smells of trouble to me. But all right, yeah, I think opening ace-8 there.
Yeah, I think it's a standard open, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite shy at opening rubbishy offsuit aces, but I think that's an area that I'm probably missing out on, in terms of steal potential and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really opening it for value, are we? We're just opening it for the ace blocker.
Yeah. Right. This was a table change, so there is actually only 1, 2, 6 players in the hand. I still think that's too early to open Jack 10 offsuit from the low jack.
Close.
Yeah. I mean, 80 big blind effective, yeah, probably should be getting out of the way. But I think as with the effective stacks start getting a little bit shorter with this sort of 40 big blind in the button and 50 on the small blind and even 60 on the end of the gun. Oh, sorry, he's not there, is he? What am I talking about? Fallen for it.
Yeah.
I think we certainly can open it, but it is on the looser side.
Yeah. And I think if it was a faster tournament structure, I think you're more inclined to open a little bit wider to steal more frequently. But because this is a 14-minute blind structure, I don't see the need to open too aggressively.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I mean, if I was
just
to open
checked
this, it
the
would be the
chart.
bottom of my range.
I just checked the charts. It's like 60% open.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's. I think you said, like I said, you don't have a feel for the table, so I think it's probably a good fold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think. Yeah. I think my whole philosophy through this early part of the tournament was, we've got quite long levels, so I only want to be playing more tight aggressive and just trying to win the big pots and stack people when I can, but not get myself into too much trouble out of position.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good strategy.
I mean, the only time I start opening up early in tournaments is with the sole aim of targeting the fish and getting heads up in pots with them before they go out and give their chips to better opponents.
Yeah.
And then I think I end up tightening up a bit more towards the end of the tournament when the opposition gets better. But I totally understand what you're saying.
All right, just folds. Oh no, hang on. I missed that. Someone limped in.
But I'm betting the turn for sure there.
Yeah. Right, just showed it down, and I presume he had a jack because I lost that hand. Oh no, I did win. I win. Yeah, leading the turn's probably reasonable.
I mean, he limped. He checked back on the flop. If he's got an ace, he's got a jack. He's just going to bet 1 or 1.5, isn't he? Stop trying to build the pot.
Yeah.
There's going to be no value in slow playing for him.
No, that's fair enough. Okay, that might be.
So if you're bluffing 10-9 off there, you're bluffing pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, but we're not playing against a balanced opponent here. He's limped in from the hijack. That's not a good strategy. So I'm not looking to play a balanced strategy back against him. I'm looking to maximally exploit him, and I'm probably going to bluff with almost my entire range there on that turn.
Are you checking like king highs, like king?
King high, I'll check for sure.
Nine or
Good chance of winning it.
Mhm.
I mean, it may be even queen high. I'm still on feeling. I might check that. I might bet that. But 10 high and below, I'm definitely going to bet. Even just like 1.5 big blinds. There's 3.2 in the pot. If we can bet 1.5, we only need to win it 33% of the time to break even, make a slight profit. I think we're easily going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Good. Just checking that I did fold it. I think that's the earliest position I'd open this hand in.
Yeah, that's probably the cutoff range. That's probably the cutoff of that range there. I think queen
Yep.
eight open, queen seven is probably not.
Yeah, I think it's spot on.
And we get 3-bet. I think I just fold here. Yeah.
Checking the charts quickly from the low jack. If we're sort of assuming about 60 big blind average effectiveness, it should actually be a fold. It's not until you get to shorter stacks like 40 big blinds and below effective that queen eight becomes an open from the low jack.
Oh,
But I open that for sure. I probably open that, 80 big blinds deep, 100 big blinds deep actually. Got to be careful with that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. I think with a bigger stack, with the deeper stacks, like 8-9 suited is a better open than queen 8 suited.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
And
Because
I'd also call a 3-bet with 8-9 suited, but I'm folding the queen 8 suited.
depending on the sizing, yeah. I'm definitely not calling a 3-bet with queen 8 suited, but I would consider it with 9-8 suited, yeah.
Okay. Nines on the button. Call or 3-bet?
I'd probably just call.
In a freeze out, I call. I think in a bounty tournament, I'm probably going to raise the.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at this. The guy that's open has got 45 big blinds. I think I'm going to be 3-bet and calling off.
Yeah, I guess that makes an extra. Does that make more sense because it's a PKO? Isolate the guy you got covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if he's already picked up a couple of bounties, therefore the bounty on his head is bigger. I can't remember the exact maths, but you can turn the value of the bounty on his head into a chip value.
So the way it works is, I think every bounty they have is worth 1 starting stack in chips. So if they're up to say 3 bounties that you'll win, then you're essentially winning whatever they've got plus 3 starting stacks as well, and that's what you factor into the pot odds equation.
Well, I don't think it's that way in PKO because PKO you win a portion of the bounty, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's only
So like, what's it? 3 or 4 bounties is equal to 1 full buy-in.
4 bounties is 1 full buy-in.
4 buy-ins is 1 full buy, or 4 bounties is 1 full buy-in.
Yeah, so if he's knocked 4 people out already, his bounty would be equivalent to a starting buy-in.
Right.
So what's the structure then? Sorry, so 50, is it a 50% goes to prize pool, 50% bounty, and
Yes.
then that's split.
And
And then
that's
so if you win that, you win half of it, and half of it goes on your bounty.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So now, if this wasn't a bounty, would you still raise?
It would depend on who was in the blinds, but at this stack depth in a freeze out, I would just call because
Yeah.
both the blinds are deep stacked and I'm fairly deep stacked. It's only the guy that's opening that's a little bit short stacked, so I think I'd call pocket nines rather than three bet them.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let's see what happens. So yeah, I do three bet. And he folds. All right, well, no drama.
That's a good result.
Yep, good
Yeah.
result.
The other reason I like nines, tens, jacks, I nearly always three bet on the button because I want to discourage the blinds from coming along. Because every man and their dog likes to defend super wide from the blinds. So the more, if I can knock one or both of the blinds out the pot, it's a much easier hand to play.
So are you three betting just a linear range then from the button in these spots as opposed to sort of polarized?
No, I do have some polarized bets as well, but I think nines, pocket pairs that in a freeze out I would normally call. Some of them I three bet, just to make it to get the blinds out of the way, basically.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So he's low jack, right?
Sorry.
I'll just double check his position. Yeah, 9 raises sometimes.
Ace king, open, call, and get min three bet from the big blind. I never understand this bet. I don't understand what people.
It's either super fishy, like I see guys do this, super fishy with like small pairs and garbage, or like aces and kings.
Yeah.
We block aces and kings, so when I see this and I'm blocking that, I usually just stick it back in her face.
I think I probably do, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
I do something. I do a lot of something that I personally do is if someone three bets me really small and I want to four bet, I actually four bet to a size that I would have four bet to had they three bet me properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Basically, I'm not going to allow them to have
A good price.
a cheap price because they tried to get a cheap price for the size of their three bet.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's correct thinking or not. But yeah, so I actually go quite big here. Plus, because the other guy's still in the hand. So if I only go to like 12.5 here, the chances are with 200 big blinds, the player that flat me in mid position is just going to call as well.
I mean, is that necessarily a bad thing though? He's not flatting closing the action. There's still a chance that the big blind could then, what are we up to now? With five bet. Wait, is that right?
No, I four bet.
No, you opened, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Got
opened.
got three bet, then you four bet. Yeah, so middle position could still flat if you went to 12.5, and then the big blind could five bet again. So you could actually then shove, perhaps isolate the guy calling from the hijack.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you go to 19, I think you're going to get too many folds.
With ace king, I don't mind that, to be honest.
No, I mean, but we're in position against someone who's identified themselves as perhaps a weak player. I'd be keen to try and keep them in the pot, but build it as big as possible.
I mean, I actually bet larger here too. Usually, I guess it's a mistake. I'd go like 17.5, I think.
Yeah, I think I did go a bit too big. I think 16, 17 would be an okay number. I think 12 is just too small.
Yeah, I'd probably go to about 15 myself. So I guess we're not talking a big disparity here.
No, but I think I did go a bit too big here. But if he had raised to somewhere in the region of 10, which, 9, 10 is the size he should have gone to. At least 10, actually, with two people in the pot. So the big blind should have three bet to about 10. So then I'm four betting to 23. So I've actually gone, I've gone smaller than I would do had he made a sensible three bet size. But yeah, I think I'd probably go achieve the same objective with a couple of big blinds less. i.e., I'm saying to the guy behind me, I'm prepared to go with this against the big blind. You know,
Yeah, I mean, having the low jack call in the first place, no, sorry, the hijack in the first place does make things quite interesting. Because again, looking at the charts here, we should only be four betting about 6% of our range here. Ace King offsuit should get four bet about 25% of the time. So the charts really, really like us just a flat here. I guess we're in position, so we want to keep the SPR as high as possible. As soon as more money starts going into the pot, then we lose our positional advantage.
yeah,
So maybe I mean, when he makes it 5 big blinds, yeah, we're going to make it bigger. But if he'd gone to sort of say like 8, then I think there's a strong argument for flatting our Ace King here.
Yeah, well, in the big, I'm always a little bit alarmed when anyone raises out of the big blind 'cause I see it so infrequently. Like, it's usually a strong hand out of the big
Yeah.
blind. In my games, it's rarely like bluffy ever.
Especially from a weak player.
Yeah, big blinds just don't raise that often in my game. So that's one little caveat I'll throw in there that would make me a little nervous.
yeah. I'm
But
guessing.
I'm still raising Ace King here.
Yeah. I'm guessing you're not playing a lot of low stakes online tournaments then, Ken.
No, yeah, I play mostly all those stakes. People like to call. They like to see hands in the big blind. I don't like
Yeah.
to raise. They feel like they don't have to. They'll raise aces and kings, ace king and queens, jacks maybe. So I don't see much more than that in my games.
Right. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's interesting. He just flat calls.
Watch him. What's he gonna donk here? That drives me crazy.
I'm trying to think what I might do here. I've got a feeling I might just shove on the flop here.
I don't know.
I would bet small.
No, I'm not shoving here.
No, I know I shouldn't. I've just got a horrible feeling I do.
I mean, what are you trying to achieve when you get? I mean, if he's got jacks or better, he's going to call.
Wait, under the gun still in this hand?
No, it's a glitch.
No, it's a glitch on the replayer or from the text from the download. So no, he's not in the hand. It's just me and the big blinds.
I think shoving the ace king is a big mistake. Well, unless we get him to fold ace king, and we can avoid splitting the pot, but then we're risking 50 big blinds to try and win 20. But I think he might take this action with jacks. With it might be in our pocket tens, jacks and queens, aces and kings. He might have 5-bet shoved. But for me,
or
I'm
he could be
probably going to bet
trapping me
about
with
10
aces
big
and
blinds.
kings as well.
Yeah. I think shoving is disastrous. I think we want to go about 10 big blinds probably, because that's what I'd want to do with my queens, kings, and aces.
Yeah. Are you?
It's a pretty dry flop. He's going to have a hard time defending any hands that aren't pairs already. So I mean, I just bet small here and go from there myself.
Yeah. Oh, let's see if I make a blunder. I get donked into.
Yeah, that's why I said before with the hangman. I'm like, watch, he's going to donk into you.
Yeah.
It's so predictable. Yeah, with that small raise pre-flop, made it so predictable that he was going to donk when he called.
What would you do, Ken?
I just call.
Yeah. We need 10% equity.
I'm annoyed, but I'm just going to call. I mean,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, my response was, what the fuck, and I shoved on him, apparently.
But see, on the other hand, now he's giving me a good price in position to where, like, if I bet and he raised, I'd be even worse off. So I'm actually kind of be happy with the donk here.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I think the call here, because if say I was sat here with aces, I think a call is the best play, because yeah, if he's got jacks and it's a clean turn, he's going to shove it himself anyway.
I got like ace jack off or something, dummy.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if he's bluffing, we're going to want to call with our aces, aren't we? We're going to want to keep him firing. Oh yeah, I think calling with probably our entire range here is the correct thing to do.
Yeah,
because our range is going to be very narrow as well at this point.
He don't have queens. He'd be betting queens bigger, I think. Jack's bigger, so he's got like ace queen, ace jack, king, queen, maybe nines, eights, who knows, fives, like
Yeah.
like
Well, unless he's trying to induce.
Yeah, he's only inducing with aces though. Well, aces and kings. I
So
think queens is going to be
combos.
too scared to take this line.
Yeah.
And I think I had a bit of a tilt response to this hand.
Got under your skin a bit.
I just piled it in his face, which isn't very classy poker. I can't really defend this action, to be honest.
I've done it.
Other than the fact that I was clearly wanting to play for his bounty pre-flop, and yeah, I that's the only justification I can come up with.
Some of these guys get me off my game and make me do this shit sometimes too.
Yeah. So he calls, and fortunately I hit the turn, and I
So he had
presume I
pocket
win.
queens, did he?
I guess he did jacks or queens, yeah.
Oh, you didn't quite get it. I thought you had a bigger stack than him to start off with.
I thought I did as well.
Yeah, you did. You had 50 something. He had 40 something.
Yeah, assume that I stacked him and took the bounty. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken that line.
Yeah, that might be just another glitch.
Yeah, this stuff is quite.
You had him covered by about 10 bigs.
I had more than that. I think,
Yeah, at least.
At least. Yeah, I.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. I didn't quite have him covered. I must have thought I did during in game.
72.6. Yeah, right. How about
Yeah.
that?
That's the joys of multi-tabling and missing 1.1 big blinds.
You did all the hard work. Now someone else is going to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes you mad.
Yeah, because look, now he's got 0.9 of a big blind, and I'm under the gun with 9-4.
But when did you play this?
2 nights ago.
And you don't remember what he had?
No, I've played about 100 tournaments this week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a lot.
Sean, did you play tournaments for full time at one point? Do I recall you saying?
The best way to describe it is I did about 6 months 2 years ago where I played full time.
Yeah.
Tournaments, and a few years before that, I would say that I played semi-pro. I was probably playing 3 or 4 times a week, but I still had a career job at the time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I've been playing for 19 years.
Okay.
But primarily recreationally, because I up until a few years ago I had 2 very well-paid careers, and I was just playing for fun on the side. But I always took it seriously, always studied a lot, and despite playing it recreationally, I still played quite a high volume.
Gotcha.
But back then I never cared about bankroll management, so if I wanted to play, 20 tournaments on a Sunday on PokerStars and burn $1,000 doing it, I would.
Yeah. Cool.
But because I had a good enough income, now I'm much more careful with bankroll management than and hence playing all the low stakes stuff at the moment.
Okay.
I have my own business at the moment, but the last year has pretty much killed it. So
Sorry to hear
I've
that.
worked there almost a year myself. That's why I'm definitely going to be doing bankroll management from this year at least.
yeah.
I ain't going back to work probably until the fall, so I got to make it work.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping I can get back to work in the next month or 2, at least part-time. I'd like to run the 2 together because I'm self-employed and I run my own diary. If I've got I can typically make about £300 a day when I'm working. So if I can do that 2 or 3 days a week and play poker 2 or 3 days a week, that'd be a really happy balance for me. But
Yeah.
Would be nice. I'm trying. I really don't want to go back to work, but at some point I'm going to have to.
I enjoy what I do, and it's the complete opposite to playing poker. So it's quite a nice break, one from the other. And also I've started making YouTube videos and stuff as well. See how that goes.
Good luck.
Right, I presume I'm not playing. See, a fish would limp 9-4 suited under the gun, hoping to get a shot at the bounty in the small blind. Because he's only got less than a big blind left, but I think I'd just take the sensible option and fold.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know he's going to get ISO'd.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Right, so nothing to see there. Oh, and he won, so he's still in. I've still got a chance. He's got 5.5 big blinds.
What was the flop? Oh, man. Would you have won it?
I didn't. Oh, hang on. Let's see.
Sometimes it's
Oh,
best
no.
not.
No, it didn't show me. Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
oh.
Oh, close on the turn.
Anyway, yeah. It's bad to go rabbit hunting.
Well, I'm hoping that I get a chance this time. I think I might call here and hope nobody re-raises it.
The problem is, I think the undergun's done that perfectly because they've worked out what size they can raise to not close the action. So that if you call, he can just rip it in now. I mean, that's what I would do in his spot as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No, he rips it. Yeah.
Oh, and he did it. So he's good. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does. Don't find out what they had. No jack. Okay.
Yeah.
And he wins it as well.
All right. Well, I missed out on that one. Yeah, this is annoying. So I've got 150 big blinds, cover everybody on the table except the guy that's on my left.
I don't play that. I don't call that. Anyway.
Oh, no, I'm not calling this hand. No, I'm just saying my table position, it kind of sucks that the only other big stack on the table is on my immediate left.
Right. No, he sucks.
Pocket threes. I think I'm just set mining here because of the bounties.
Yeah, I think so.
So
and again, I don't have.
pretty close.
If this is a freeze out, I'd fold.
I don't know. You're getting the right implied odds to set mine still.
The only problem is you got the guy behind you still. If he,
I don't think he's going to re-raise.
No.
no, probably not. How'd the action go? You opened and he just called?
No, I under the gun one opened. I called mid position. The cutoff called, and then the big blind squeezed.
He shouldn't be squeezing here.
Well, I don't know. I think it's quite a good exploitative play, actually. I've been trying to work in a lot of these sort of moves into mine. I mean, more than about 20, 30 big blinds. When I get an open and several callers, I'm looking to shove a lot wider than I used to, and it's incredibly profitable because normally they fold, and when you do get called, you still got 30% equity. But I think here in a freeze out, I'm probably calling anyway because we do have the right odds. We are in position, and the big blind is representing quite a strong hand, so we've got a lot more chance of realizing our equity too if we do hit a three.
Yeah. And plus, with the bounty on top, I think it's a no-brainer to call it.
Yep.
We're not at risk, so. And there's always the bonus the cutoff comes along and makes a hand if we hit our set as well.
Yeah.
Be careful. Not the best.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the only thing with threes too, though, is you always got that risk of set over set, but can't worry about it, I guess.
No.
Let's see what I do here. This could get funky. Yeah, I bet about 70% pot.
I would have checked.
I don't know about checking.
The chances of somebody flopping a flush is something like 14-1, but the chance of them having a single heart in their hand is really high, and they're not going to want to fold it in a PKO tournament. So
yeah, I tend to wait for a brick turn, like meaning a non-heart, and then start barreling.
But you're not going to get any value from someone chasing.
Well, you're only going to get two streets anyway, or you know what I mean, like or one street anyway, right?
Yeah.
But see, the guy's got 73 big blinds, so by going 25 here, if he calls, the pot's going to be about 85. He's going to have 50 left, so he's going to feel pot committed. He's probably going to call with the ace of hearts if you shove.
Yeah.
It's basically that's the scenario I'm basically trying to set up to stack someone to stack the big blinds and take his bounty if he does have the ace of hearts.
I just hate to get put all in here too. Like, I mean, it's fine. I guess we're probably ahead almost all the time, but there's 2 cards to come.
If the cutoff behind me shoves or puts me all in now, I'm folding because he's really only doing that with a made flush or a bigger set. But I'm calling off against the big blind.
Yeah.
We're probably supposed to bet here all the time. I get nitty in these spots.
I've been watching a lot of high stakes online 6-match stuff on YouTube. And see, in the past, I wouldn't have bet this at all. And the high stakes guys, they're like, look, you've got to bet this because you want to maximize your equity when they're chasing, and they're going to tell you straight away if they got you beat. So
you have the best hand now, so get value now while you can, probably, right?
Yeah.
I do say that often myself too. It's just these flops are dicey for me. It's just.
I mean, and if you do get the 4th heart, even if they don't have it, they're not going to they're not going to pay you off anymore either way. So it's either going to lose you the hand or kill the action anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I start putting money in now.
And that's why I choose a bigger sizing.
Yeah, I'd go about 70% here. That's one of my preset buttons.
Yeah, I think mine's 72%, but yeah, give or take.
Yes, I'd have gone 24, 25 as well. Yep.
Cut off folds, which was a relief. And they both fold. All right.
That's a healthy pot.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't have to sweat the turn or river.
Yep.
All right. Big blinds.
And,
small
and
blinds.
what happened on the last hand? We were big blind.
Oh, what was my big blind?
10-5 or something. A jack 7 all.
Oh, it was a limp pot. Sorry, I didn't see that. Well spotted, James.
I just bet there.
Do you know what I would have done? But I've stopped doing it with, particularly on a jack board with a jack. A lot of weak players limp Jack 10, Queen Jack, King Jack offsuit, and I several times I just got reverse implied odds so frequent. Like I just got value owned basically.
Okay.
In particular, it's just jacks. I don't know why. It's just the thing I picked up on. Like the favourite hand of weak players seems to be Jack 10-0, Queen Jack offsuit, King Jack offsuit, and Ace Jack offsuit. Like they just overplayed something chronic. And
I don't think they realise the difference between the value of suited hands versus non-suited hands.
No, except they play suited junk like Ace 3, 8-3 suited from the small blind versus a raise. Anyway, that will digress. Had this been, say, that under the gun had limped and everybody had folded and it was just me and him, I probably would have let out. But because the other 2 guys are still in the hands, I don't know. I think I lead out now.
Yeah. Oh, it's very big.
I'm not
You
sure
ever
what-
bet pot?
I did, yeah.
What was that, pot and a half, is it?
Yeah. I think I might have clicked the wrong button, to be honest.
Yeah, again, so I'm not sure what you're trying to achieve with that.
No, I think that's a misclick.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I'd have gone about just 2 big blinds, 40% pot probably.
I think I'd have gone 70%. I'd have gone for like 3 and a bit big blinds.
Yeah, I go small there too because I'm going to end up bluffing a lot with small bets and just try to get some auto folds.
Yeah, I'm just not bluffing into 3 players. Like,
I do.
unless it's a flush draw. Yeah, if I've got 7-6 of clubs, I'm going to bet big as well.
Yeah.
That's why I said I get in trouble in limp pots. I bluff too much.
Oh right, okay, sorry, Ken.
Yeah, no, but I just realized I'm thinking it now. Like I shouldn't be doing it, and here I am doing it again. Like in my it's an auto bad play.
I mean, part of the reason I go so small is because I don't have any bluffs, so I'm only going to be betting for value here. which is
Yeah.
why I'd use the 40% pot.
Yeah, I think I'm. This hand isn't strong enough to be classed as, like I would overbet with a set of twos, a set of eights, jack eight, and then hands like 7-6 of clubs, and like 9-10 of clubs, stuff like that. So for the large bet size, the overpot bet size would be those hands. This
Okay.
doesn't fit in that category, but I still think I can bet relatively large for value, so I'd go 70%. 70%.
Okay.
I just think I clicked the wrong button because I was multi-tabling. Okay, I didn't get punished for it, so that's all right.
That's good.
Under the gun limp. Yeah,
I'm probably just limping this. I'm just gonna try and see the flop. Yeah.
yeah.
I think with the 9 we can call if the big blind tries to isolate. We're so deep. We're going to have the correct implied odds with the suit connected to carry on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Just don't want to isolate ourselves and then get 3-bet.
If you're playing a ton of tables, you probably don't know this, but if this guy's like a habitual limper, I'm raising. Like if he's just limping in all the time, I'm just raising. 'Cause I want to be the aggressor on the flop too.
Yeah.
Against a guy that just loves the limp in. But I'm sure you probably don't know that if you're playing 20 tables or whatever. You just probably don't know.
I wish I could play 20 tables.
I'm not over limping against habitual limpers with that hand. I'm raising.
If I've got position on them, I'm raising this hand against them. Like if I'm on the button here, I'm raising this hand 100%. But when I'm out of position, I just don't bother because I'm getting called almost 100%, and then I'm playing every pot out of position.
Yep.
So
Okay.
when I'm out of position, I think I'm more inclined just to take a flop and try and smash it and stack them. And if I don't, well, I've only lost half big blind, move on to the next hand. But I totally agree, Ken. In position, I'm raising this 100%. I'm not.
I mean, it doesn't have the classic blockers we like in the small blind, but I think against super weak players, I just want to take the aggressive line right from the get-go.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
And I just get after them.
I feel an overbet coming on. Oh no, this 70%. Okay, that's not like it. And then I get raised.
Pretty
It's
gross.
cool.
Man, that sucks. Like he's got
all the full houses there.
that's it. I just hate paired boards. Like drawn to the flush. It's not even the nut flush, and the board's paired. You got a raise and a call. I think I'm folding.
Yeah, I think with the overcall as well, I'm folding.
Yep.
If I had 8-7 of hearts, I'm definitely calling.
I think you'd have led with that on the flop though.
I might have done actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed in limp pots you don't ever seem to take the initiative on the flop. Or have we just not really hit anything yet? I suppose.
No, like if this board wasn't paired,
Yeah.
if it was I don't know 2-6-5 2 hearts, I probably would have led.
Okay.
But even then, it hits the big blind harder than it hits me, even though I could be limping anything in the small
No,
blind.
I'm not sure.
He's got all the sixes right, but that still doesn't concern me on the flop so much because you still got so much of all the other crap.
Yeah, that's
concerning now because he's raising you. But like on the flop, it wouldn't have concerned me much at all. Like I'm still going to want to bet there, and then a lot of times they're just going to let you know if they have it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I just fold.
Cool.
Standard open on the button.
Yep.
2 callers as usual. Like I said, there's no hands in it for most of this tournament where you're not at least 3 ways to the flop.
I'm probably going small there. I'm probably going about 3 big blinds.
Do you know why I didn't?
Yeah,
Because,
I'm C betting, so probably 2 3/4 or whatever, third pot.
they've got between them, they've got all the junky aces in their range, and a lot of flush draws as well. And I think if this had been ace queen 2, I'd have bet for sure.
Well, the small blind is actually going to have some decent aces. He's going to have some decent. He should have at least a decent range. The small blind, of course, the big blind's super wide.
Yeah.
But I still like to see bet because we're not going. We're not going to really improve with this hand.
No, I know. There's just some spots where I'm just like,
Even
one
though-
or the other of them has got an ace here, and I'm just burning chips when I can't bet for value. Or, yeah, if I've got the king 9 of clubs, I'm betting obviously, or even the king 9 of diamonds, I'm betting. But I've just got total junk here, and it's such a high probability one of them's got something that the C bet is just not going to work.
I disagree with your comment though about the ace queen deuce being a more favourable board, because I think people are going to be very, very happy to just call with all their crappy Broadway hands, and that gives them an extra card that they could possibly hit. I think they're still going to have a lot of sort of queen jack, queen 8, king jack, loads of crap that they will fold here. It's like whenever there's 2 cards less than a 9 on the board, I'm always going to try and get them to fold out their high cards. Yes, it's annoying there's 2 of them because there is more chance of them having an ace. But the big blind is going to be calling with pretty much any suited cards that he has. And again, I'm only going to go small because it's almost like a one and done shot.
Yeah. Me too.
I mean, maybe that's me being too aggressive here.
I do the one and done here too. I mean, I just think they're going to miss as much as as many as weak aces and flush draws they're going to have. They're going to have still more stuff that just bricked.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you want to fire out?
So in a heads-up pot, if I was against the small blind or just against the big blind, I would fire here. But against both of them, I just feel it's not worth it.
Okay.
I mean, I would expect the small blind to stick around with some pairs he calls with there. Like if he doesn't raise, whatever, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s maybe.
Yeah, I think
You know-
we're into 2 barreling with complete air.
What's that?
If we're gonna do that, if we're targeting, like, we're gonna get called by all the mid pocket pairs, all the flush draws, and any ace X. So to get any decent amount of folds, we're gonna have to 2 barrel, and we're 2 barreling with pretty much no equity.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally fire the second barrel, but I am still just going to bet the first one. I think players are just calling far too wide, and they're still going to have so much junk they will just instantly fold without even thinking about it. I mean, so we bet a third pot, so it only has to work just over 25% of the time just to make an immediate profit.
Yeah.
And even if they both fold only 30% of the time, that's still a good edge we're exploiting.
Okay.
But I guess it comes down to how often you think they are both going to fold.
Yeah, not very, I guess. was
I mean,
my thinking.
30% isn't very high at all, but it's still profitable.
Yeah. Again, if the 6, for example, was a heart, I think I might see bet.
Okay.
Just because because I do have the opportunity to 2 barrel then.
Yeah.
It's just because I've got, other than hitting a king and hoping it's better than their pocket 8s, there's, because I don't really see a possibility of 2 barreling this, I'm just not firing the first one.
Okay.
I think that's I think where I'm at with this into 2 players. Into 1 player, I'm definitely taking a stab at it. There we go. One bets, the other one calls. So
Dodge the bullet.
yeah, maybe, but I get what you're both saying.
I'm just targeting auto falls with 1 small bet because I'm not going to probably improve enough to win otherwise.
Yeah.
They have it in anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm trying to win as many of these small pots that no one's contesting as possible. Again, maybe I am being too aggressive here. It'll be interesting. I might fire up Flopzilla tomorrow and actually put the ranges in and just see how often I do expect to get a bet. It's easy to sort of sit here hypotheticalizing. I know it's not a word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, when you check there, that kind of green lights them to bet hands worse than an ace as well. Often.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be betting all his flush draws, all his gut shots, all his open-ended draws. You know, it's a green light for all the draws to start bluffing as well as, you know, the hands betting for value. I just felt I had no real way of improving my hands. I like to, when I'm playing against more than one player, so in non-heads up pots, if I'm going to fire a c-bet, I like to know I've got cards that can come on the turn, that if I am bluffing on the flop, that I pick up equity on the turn, I can carry on firing.
Right.
Against multiple players, not against a single player. I'm firing c-bet 100% here, I think. But
So if we think about that flop though, right? I mean, we do have the range and nut advantage against both of those players, right?
yeah, but also in this spot, if I've got ace-5 offsuit, I'm checking it back as well. I'm checking back some weak offsuit aces on this flop to protect my check back range.
Right.
But that's if you want a check back range. Yeah, I mean, I guess perhaps say we'd open from the middle position or under the gun +1, then we could justify betting our whole range. But like when we open from the bottom, we do have a lot of shit in our range too. Sorry for swearing on the YouTube video. You know what I mean?
That's fine. I swear all the time.
Good.
I've just been good today.
Yeah, you are persuading me actually that we probably should be. So rainbow, are you c betting?
Rainbow, probably. Again,
Yeah.
I'd prefer it if it was rainbow and there was one heart on the board. I'd be c betting
Okay.
because I could still improve to a flush by the river. And also, if there was like, it's not a good example, but say I had Jack 9 and it was 2 of clubs, ace of diamonds, 8 of hearts.
Yep.
I've got a chance of making a backdoor flush and a backdoor straight. So I've got more barrel cards on the turn.
So what flop did you say there?
So it was the ace of diamonds and the 8 of hearts, and I've got Jack, 9 Jack instead of King Jack.
Okay.
So I can hit a backdoor straight and a backdoor flush. I've got more cards I can barrel on the turn.
Yeah.
Even though it's an ace high board. Because if they've only got a weak ace, I'm not going to get raised. And they've basically said they don't have any strong aces because neither of them 3-bet. So in that scenario, I would barrel with potential backdoor draws. But because we don't have any, I just didn't see the point in firing a c-bet.
Okay.
Right. Should we just maybe find one more hand and then either have a break or call it a night, unless you want to carry on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm good till about 11 p.m. I don't know if you just want to crack on for 25 minutes, then we'll call it a night.
Okay,
Sounds
yeah, we'll do
Or
it.
an evening, Ken. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to play at 6 anyway, so.
Okay, that works out well then. If that's all right with you, Sean.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I reckon we'll be about a fifth of the way through the total hand history, so we can pick it up again next Thursday if you guys are around.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. So just another limp pot again. Oh no, this another one of these. I don't understand these bets. So the small blind, someone's limped in, and the small blind just min raises it. What does that accomplish?
I'm what it's worth, I'm folding that for sure. We're likely to be 4-way, fairly poor position, poor cards, reverse implied odds more than likely, and we're putting this one in, not closing the action either. I mean, it's unlikely that the under the gun is limping tricky. He might be. Middle position we don't have to worry about. He's likely just going to call as well. But for me, I just save my one big blind, make it an easy hand, and just fold it.
All right.
So he said, I don't know what the small blind's doing here.
No, I don't have a clue.
The
What
junk
small
or
blind's
only
doing.
monsters. It's
Yeah, it's just I don't understand why people do this.
I'd be super annoyed. I'm still going to stick to one big blind. We're going to probably put one in. The pot's going to probably go up to 9, and I'm just going to try to smash the flop and get lucky or fold.
Yeah,
Queen
I'm
eight
basically looking to
hand
flop.
heads up though. Multi-way it's even worse.
Yeah, I'm going to flick the 1 in, and I'm going to hope to flop trips or
Trip 8. That's what I'm thinking. Hit trip 8 or something. Or
trip eights or a straight, and otherwise, and I'm not putting another penny in the pot, But
something like that. Get lucky.
and then it's going to check round because it always does in such silly pots. Are you leading this turn? We've made an 8 on the turn, and it's check round.
Personally, I'm not.
I'm firing away.
Yeah, I decided to fire as well. I mean, we're not getting any flush draws to fold here, or straight draws. So it could be tricky on the river because there's a good chance we're going to get 2 callers, I think.
But I mean, you're not giving them the correct odds to call. So if you do, as long as you don't pay them off, they've still played the hand poorly.
It's a horrible river.
That's nasty. I mean, it's nice blocking Queen Jack.
Straight gets there, flush gets there. They shouldn't have a gutter. He shouldn't have been calling with a gutter unless it was a combo, probably, right?
I mean, you doubt they've got Jack 7, but they could potentially have 7-6.
Yeah, they could have 7-6 of hearts or spades.
I'd probably check call unless he blasts it.
Fortunately, he checked behind.
We're probably going to win it then. No, oh, all right.
I think he had 10 Jack or something like that. That he just didn't want to bet on the flop.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we lost the minimum. Well, no, we didn't because we could have taken your option, James, and just folded pre-flop.
Yeah, it's right. I just find myself getting into tough spots with these hands. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like we're ever going to get stacked in that situation, is it? So, unless we flop trip queens and they happen to have king queen or something, but.
Or Queen 9, Queen 10, Queen Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few of them out there, but no. Okay.
Obvious 3-bet. Kings on the button. Very nice.
Nice to have kings when the guy didn't open limp. You get the raise in somebody that might have a hand.
We just get the call. Nice flop. You betting or checking?
Well, I generally check top set, but I'm going to bet this because it's wet enough. I think just going to bet small.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I think I actually checked this one back, and then I was like, oh, I've got top set. I'll check back, and as I hit the button, I'm pretty sure my brain went, it's a really wet board. He's bound to have hit something on that.
Exactly.
It's not super wet, but I think it's good enough to where he's going to have hands he's going to want to call with still enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I mean. I'm not betting for protection. I'm betting to get value from like ace queen that hopes to hit a gut shot. And
ace queen, ace jack, queen jack.
Yeah.
I mean ace 10, queens, jacks that didn't want to play more aggressively.
Oh, I did bet. I thought I checked this one. I did bet.
Yeah, it's a good bet size as well.
And I get raised.
Okay, in position, I'm just flatting this every day.
Yeah, just call and let him ship it on the turn.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to risk him folding a bluff.
I don't think he's going to fold a lot here. I'm not sure what I do. Part of me wants to. I agree with both of you. Just flat calling this and then letting him dump it off on the turn. But I also think there's a good chance he's got like pocket 5s or pocket 10s. And we can just stack him right now before. I don't know.
I mean, there's obvious value hands, but he should have a decent amount of draws here as well. He might even have a king that he thinks is good. But like I'm not folding to any scare cards, so I don't mind just calling it if he jams turn.
Yeah.
I'm turning it off no matter what. And if he doesn't follow through with a bet, I'm betting for him.
Yeah, yeah. If he checks the turn, I'm calling now, and if he checks the turn, then I'm going to stick it in.
All right. I've got a feeling I just looked at this and thought the size of his re-raise and how much, the fact, the size of his re-raise, the size of the pot now, and the fact he's only got 30 big blinds left behind.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got a raise fold range here.
This is kind of like the reverse of the one we spoke about in the first half, isn't it? Where we bet with a hand that didn't look like we had much fold equity. So when the guy did raise, our point of view was, well, he knew I was opening with no fold equity, so he's only shoving a monster back.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
It's kind of like the reverse of the spot we had earlier. I mean, say he's got something like, I am struggling to find something that he'd do this and then fold though. Something like Ace King maybe. Would he find a fold? Probably not.
No.
King Queen perhaps. That's maybe the best we could. He might raise fold that.
But he's gonna have King Queen with no club, and he's just gonna put me on a club draw and call it off. Yeah, it's. Let's see what I do. I do just pile it in his face, and he calls. But maybe I got lucky then. Horrible turn. I don't know what he had. I presume. I'm going to say.
Must be a flush draw or Ace 4.
Yeah, it must have been. Oh, yeah, I thought I won. I didn't win, did I? No, I lost it. It must have been a flush draw.
Ace Jack of clubs, Ace Queen of clubs, maybe. Even something like because he called the 3-bet, didn't he, pre-flop? So
yeah,
you wouldn't expect anything worse than sort of Jack 9 of clubs, which he'd also be very happy getting it in with.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I lost a big one there.
The benefit of. Oops, sorry, go on.
I think part of the reason I shoved it, a lot of the time, it is going to be a club draw, and I don't know that they're. Mind you, I can just bet for them when they check to me, but they might check fold the turn when they miss. So I don't know.
Yeah.
This is me playing a lot at low stakes or micro stakes, and not maybe in a a $20 or $30 tournament. There's more merit to calling and letting bluff shove the turn when they miss. But these stakes, a lot of the time, once they've raised you, they are going with whatever they've raised you with. There's not a lot of bluff raises. The bluff raises are all, strong flush draws or combo draws.
That's true a high percentage of the time for sure.
So did he check raise the flop through it, or did he bet you 2-bet and he 3-bet?
He check raised me.
Yeah.
I still think there is draws he would.
And he check raised kind of big too.
Yeah, it was the size of his check raise.
I think that was it, wasn't it? It was over 30% of his stack.
Yeah, and it was more than 3x. It was 3x my C bet, and more than about 40. It was about 40% of his stack as well. So he's three. I'm trying to get it back to where it was. So I bet 6.2 into 16 and a bit, and then he raises me to 18, leaving 30 behind. So he's put 40% of his stack in his check raise. So he's not going to do that with, Jack 9 of hearts and then fold, is he? Because he's just not going to.
Hang on. If we think he's got a draw, and we shove, is he getting the correct odds to call then? And does that mean we're making a mistake?
So
was it's 40.7 in the middle? So if we were to put him all in, it got to 70. So he'd have to call 30 to win 100.
Yeah, he's not making a mistake.
Does that mean we are?
How are we making a mistake with the nuts?
Yeah, true. And so I think there's a different way we could have played it to avoid him being able to play perfectly against us, but probably not when the flop's like this.
No, I don't think the worst hands he's doing this with are his strong draws.
Yeah.
So his ace, either his combo draws or his ace high flush draws. And everything, and the rest of his hands are king 10, pocket 10s, and pocket 5s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's ever doing this with ace jack offsuit, for example, when too much of my range, 3-betting range, hits that board.
Yeah, hang on. So I'm just going to make a quick note in my poker workbooks. I actually want to have a little deep dive into my database later and find out if I ever do get check raise folded again.
I'm sure you will. I don't think it'll be that much.
I mean, on similar boards like this,
Yeah.
and with
I think it'd take a really ballsy, creative player to check raise ace jack offsuit with the ace of clubs here.
Well, and I think if they're going to have a check raise fold range, they're definitely going to raise check raise smaller to give them the space to do that.
Yeah, I think they'd be raising to like 14.
Yeah, like you guys said,
Or
he didn't really
12.
give him, he didn't give himself much room that fold when he gets ripped on.
No, I mean that really looks to me like I want to get it in right now. Which is why I was a bit surprised to lose. I thought we had a set over set situation. But obviously,
if he's sitting there with the flush draw, even a good combo draw, I'm still gonna. If I'm gonna go a third of my stack, I'm gonna go for my whole stack and try and win it there and then. But, no, okay, I agree. I think you played that well actually by just shoving it in.
it was more the sizing, like the
Yeah.
size. It just looked like he wanted to get it in right now, and I'm like, well, I've got top set. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
And to be fair, you know, I've got a lot of hands I'm folding to this check raise as well. Like, there's a lot of hands I'm 3-betting him with here that I have to fold to this check raise. But he obviously doesn't know that because of his sizing.
No, of course. So say you had 100 big blinds behind now instead of 30. Are you still shoving, or does that change the way you play this?
I think I'm clicking it back on him. I'm going to try and induce him to shove on me.
Okay.
If there was no, if it was the 10 of hearts, so if there was no flush draw, I'm just calling. Because there's a flush draw on there, that greatly improves the number of draw hands he's going to do this with.
Yeah.
So on a rainbow flop, I'm just calling the check raise, and on a coordinated flop, I'm trying to get it in now.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And like he called a 3-bet pre-flop, so he shouldn't even really have a lot of flush draws. You know, when you think about it, he obviously had it here, but generally speaking, it's not going to make up a big portion of their range.
I think you'd be surprised, actually, Ken.
Under the gun one open and you 3-bet. He's already open and super tight. I'm not super
It's
tight.
the low jack, really, though.
Huh?
This is only 7-handed. It's not full ring, so he would effectively be the low jack. So he's got a lot of suited broadways in his hand and a lot of suited aces. And a lot of these players do not like folding those hands pre-flop.
And what did he start the hand on? It was about 60, was it?
Yeah.
He's calling with about 40%.
Yeah, he started with
40%.
55.
He's calling with about 40% of his range.
Yeah.
So like ace 9 suited through ace queen suited, a couple of the smaller suited aces are mixed frequencies, and he's got king 10, king jack, king queen. You block, half of them, right?
Yeah.
Well, the 3/4 of them are gone because there's a king on the flop, and then you just got queen jack suited, king 10 suited, jack 10 suited.
Well, they're all blocked by the 10 clubs.
You only got one combo of them, so you really only have a handful of maybe like 10 flush draw combos.
In theory.
In theory.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't have the clubs, draw a king. So 7, 8, 9. Yeah, like 10, 10, 12, 13, something like that. That's not really a lot. It's going to be about 10% of his range, roughly. That's the only point I was making. It's not going to, typically, it's not going to make up a large portion of their range in this spot.
Yeah,
No, but it
again,
makes-
he's not check raising with his entire range though.
Yeah, but the hands that he's check raising are going to be sets. Well, he's only got 2 combos, 3 each of those combos, and then the 1 combo of 2 pair, king 10 of diamonds, and everything else has to be a flush draw or combo flush draw.
He's got 1 combo of king, queen.
I don't think he check raises that though. That's a check call for sure.
Probably. I might have a couple combos of king, queen, actually. You could have a few king, queen off.
Two combos. Yeah, you could have king queen off. 2 people do pull that.
There's only 4 combos of that though, yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Anyway,
I mean the argument for just calling this is if we put him on mostly club draws plus a couple of sets, then we can call this and we can call it and play more cautiously on the turn if the club comes in. But are we ever folding if he shoves the turn and the club comes in?
I probably don't fold.
No. So yeah.
But like he's got non-club draws too, though. Like he's got queen jack, right?
That's true.
Maybe ace jack with the ace of clubs.
That's the only creative one I can think of. Ace jack and ace queen with the ace of clubs. They're good, potentially good bluffing combos. But that takes quite a high level thinking. I think it takes quite an experienced, good player to come up with that. I don't think your average everyday player is going to do that. I think they're going to check call, hope to hit their gut shot on the turn, and if they don't, well, they hope a club comes, so maybe they can get to the river and make a flush. They're not going to sit there and go, oh, this is a good combo to check raise.
Right.
Should we make this the last hand?
I mean, I do find it against a small C bet, but against a larger bet, I would never raise with it.
Yeah. Do you guys? I think I know the answer to this. I can't remember when I was last. I'm not currently subscribed on pokercoaching.com. I can't afford the monthly at the moment. But one of the videos I watched last year was, I think, the cash game course, or a spin-off from the cash game course, with I think it was Matt Affleck, and he did a whole bunch of stuff with flop textures and varying the c-bet size based on flop texture. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
I don't remember it.
I'm not sure. I haven't studied cash in quite a long time.
Anyway, it stuck with me because it made a lot of sense. So on a board structure where we have both the nut and range advantage, our c-bet size should be large. And then on dry flops or flops that aren't good for our range, or where we don't have the nut advantage, we still have the range advantage but not the nut advantage, then our c-bets should be smaller. And that's something I've used quite a lot since watching that video, and it does actually work surprisingly well.
Yeah, the last thing to sort of think about, so you've got the range advantage, which determines sort of betting frequency, nut advantage, which determines the sort of bet size. But we also need to think about the range connectivity as well, not ours, the opponents.
Yeah.
And our bet size needs to take into account the strength of the hand that they're going to be calling with. So say the flop was very dry, say like 10, 6, 3, for example. then we know they're going to be calling with a lot of overcards. Again, so we need to rein the bet size down a little bit. But on wetter boards such as King, Queen 4, for example, we can be raising our bet size because the hands they're going to be calling with, if they are continuing, is either strong draws or good pairs.
Yeah. Yeah. So on this flop, I'm betting 70% pot almost always.
I see. On this one, I'm far more likely to polarize my bet. So do you mean with your range, or when you bet you're going to use that size?
It doesn't, regardless of my hand on this flop in this scenario, I'm betting on the large size all the time.
I think it's another spot where it's a range bet, small versus the big blind, right?
No, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do that.
You have a range and nut advantage, so I think you just bet small in that spot. You bet frequently and small.
I bet frequently and big in that scenario. When I've got both the nut and range advantage, I'm going to bet big.
So when you bet big, it should be infrequently. It should be that's when you polarize your range to your strongest hands and your bluffs, your best bluffs.
Yeah, I get that. I might be overdoing it somewhat, but I like the concept. So, like, if I had pocket fives on this board, I would bet big because my range has the nut advantage over their range.
Yeah, but the frequency, see, for me, I think say you'd opened from like under the gun, then yeah, that makes a lot more sense because your range is going to be highly populated with strong nutted hands. But if you were to look at a cut-off opening range, 60 big blinds deep, you're still going to have a lot of misses. And I think range betting big in that instance, nah, I just don't like the idea of doing that. I'd be looking to polarize my bets here.
Right.
I mean, under the gun, we've got a much stronger range, so we can bet our entire range. I just don't think we can. I don't think we can bet big here because if we get check raised from the big blind, we're going to have a horrible time defending.
But we also know if we get check raised here, it's nutted hands and super strong draws. He's not gonna check raise a backdoor flush draw, for example, to a big bet, but they will to a small bet.
Yeah, that's potentially true.
I mean, maybe I've got the concept a bit wrong, and certainly, yeah, I think from later positions, I need to rein that back, and from earlier positions, it's better.
Yeah. Yes. So if you're under the gun, I could fully get behind that, but because we can easily defend. Okay, this guy might not. But if someone sees you betting like 100% frequency in these spots, they're going to start check raising you very, very aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit protected there because A, you can't use a hard on party poker, and B, these are large field, low stakes tournaments. So yeah. I'm not so worried about being perfectly balanced and being exploited myself because they're just not going to see me do it enough times to pick up on it.
I mean, how elastic is it?
Here's another way I look at it. When I have the range advantage and I want to bet small, it's like I'm betting with all of my hands, so that means I'm betting with a lot of shit. So if I can bet 2.2 big blinds here or whatever, and get him to fold 40% of his range or 50% of his range, we're just printing money for the lowest price possible. But he does still have like all the kings that aren't the best kings. He's not going to have ace king, obviously, or maybe not king queen. He's going to have all the queens suited and all suited, and he's going to defend. So just bet small and get all the auto folds with our jump.
Yeah. I think his range is going to be very inelastic here. I think you're going to get the same number of folds from 4.5 big blinds as you will from 3 big blinds. I don't think he's going to change his range enough to justify the 1.5 big blind extra cost for us.
Yeah, the difference is in the frequency at which we get check raised. I guess is what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So the calls and folds are going to be the same ratio, but the check raises will be a lot more honest, I think.
Yeah, but at the same time, if we open smaller and get check raised, we're going to have worse odds. So it's an easier decision for us as well. If we bet big and then he min check raises us, then it's a horrible position, especially sitting here with a gut shot, because it's going to be very close to whether or not we actually have to call.
Yeah.
I would go small because I think their range is too inelastic, and I want to give myself an easy decision if he does check raise. I don't think the extra big blind or two that would cost us to bet big justifies the potential loss.
Okay. I don't actually know what I do in this spot. I just know it's something that I do, and yeah, maybe I need to refine it more. Sort of early position versus late position.
Yeah, like I mean, you don't even really have a draw here, really. So that's why I don't want to use this for large either. Like if I'm going to polarize my range, that means I'm not betting that many hands, so I don't need to find that many bluffs, and this wouldn't be a bluff I need to find.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I do go on the larger side. Right, I get lucky that time, but yeah, I think you're right. I think I think I need to revisit.
If you're going to bet aces big here, if you're going to bet your sets big here, if you're going to bet ace king big here, king queen big here, maybe king jack, then you only have to find the equal amount of bluffs to that, and you should have plenty without getting into nine jack with no flush redraw.
Yeah. I actually prefer using something like pocket fives as a bluff here, where we can, we've only got 2 outs, but it's pretty much going to be the nuts when it hits, and we're going to fold out a lot of hands like 8-9 that have got a lot of equity against us.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then hands like 7-6 of diamonds that've got no showdown value but strong draw value would be better with a bigger size. But yeah, this is pretty much junk, so maybe using a small size on this is better. Cool. Should we yeah, that's just after 11. So we'll just wrap it up there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed